Hey, how's it going, everyone, and welcome to another Sly Cooper video. And today, guys, I'm going to be ranking the 5 Sly Cooper models. This is going to be the Sly Movie model, Sly 2, 3, Sly 1, PlayStation Move Heroes, and Sly 4. This ranking is going to be of in-game models, so when it comes to things like PlayStation Move Heroes, I'm not talking about the cutscenes. That also goes for all the Sly games, although the Sly Movie, of course, is kind of just cutscenes, but I'm still going to include it in this list. Now, I'm not including the Sly Cooper TV show model just because it's very similar to the movie model, and because we haven't fully seen it in action, we've only seen pictures. This is also the reason why I'm pairing Sly 2 and 3 together, because they're so similar. Also, make sure to leave your own thoughts in the comments section below. Tell me, what is your ranking, and do you agree with mine? Anyways, let's go ahead and kick it off with my number 5 spot. This may surprise you, but my least favorite Sly Cooper model is the one from Sly 1. Now, this one obviously is the least graphically impressive. I mean, that was pretty obvious, but there's just something about his face that always was kind of off with me. His eyes are really big, and he only seems to have one facial expression when he's running around. It's kind of creepy. And I've noticed with the PS2 Sly games is that everybody looks really blocky, which isn't a huge problem, but it's really noticeable in Sly 1. I mean, it's not a bad model, it's very similar to the rest, it just seems the most unfinished and least impressive. But really, there's not much else to say on this one, so I'm going to leave it at that. Let's go ahead and go to the number 4 spot. Now, there wasn't too much of an improvement from Sly 1 to Sly 2 and 3. There were just a little bit of differences here and there that were kind of noticeable. First of all, the facial expression was the biggest upgrade. In Sly 1, he seemed to be smiling all the time, and his eyes were really bug-eyed, and it looked kind of weird, and that was one of the reasons why I said it's my least favorite last pick. But here, they completely changed it up. You actually feel like Sly is feeling something. His facial expression changes quite often, and it is much nicer than the previous installment. It's still lower on the list because it was a PS2 game, and it was a little bit blocky, like I said earlier, and it wasn't the most impressive graphically. Now, this just might be me, but I found it quite weird that his backpack was removed in favor of a side pouch. I don't know why that was made. I don't have a huge problem with it, and actually in Sly 4, he has both. So it was kind of a weird transition, but it's fine. Because the changes were quite small, that's all I have to say on this one. Let's go ahead and move into the 3rd spot. Now, I personally don't think that the Sly Cooper model and PlayStation Move Heroes gets enough credit. Now, I know the game wasn't that great, and the animated cutscenes made Sly look a little weird, yes, definitely, but the in-game model I found actually kind of cool. And this is the most accurate representation of what a more modernized or upscaled Sly would look like if you just took the PS2 version and graphically improve it. It felt like a more literal transition than the model that we got in Sly 4, mainly because Sly 4 used a completely different style, but here it felt like the PS2 style, just on the PS3 with better graphics. And I didn't think there was any problem with that. I think it looks pretty cool. Now, I do think the walking animation and the in-game stuff can look a little bit weird at times, but if we're just going strictly off the model, I really liked it. Was it the best model ever? No, but it reminded me of the PS2 games way more than the 4th game ever did. But with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the 2nd spot. It seems like Sanzaru wanted to come up with something special and make their own mark on the series by changing up the art style quite a bit. They didn't do a literal transition from the PS2 to the PS3 like PlayStation Move Heroes did, yet do a completely different style. Now, there were still little similarities from the PS2 games to this game, especially when it comes to buildings and overall look of the levels, but the character models were definitely the most vastly improved. Sly looks a lot more mature, and he actually has a little goatee at the bottom of his face. I always thought that was kind of weird that they added that in, but hey, it looks fine. One thing that I really did like about this model is the fact that you can see his fur a lot better, and it's way more detailed than the PS2 games. He seemed to just be like one solid color for his fur in the PS2 games, but you can actually see the texture here. One cool thing I noticed about this model is that the characters seem to kind of glow every once in a while, and with Sly and his cane, there would just be a little sparkle effect every now and then on the metal. I thought that was a little cool touch and made the model that much better. I could go on and on about this one, but it's not my favorite, and you probably already know which one I'm going to say is my favorite, so yeah, let's just go ahead and move on to the number 1 spot. When the Sly Cooper movie teaser trailer was released in January of 2014, one of the biggest complaints was Sly's character design. There were also complaints for other characters as well, but Sly was a big one, and I never really saw why. I really enjoyed this model, and it's actually my favorite out of the bunch. Sly's face is just basically a CGI version of the one from Sly 4, and the only real difference between this and the PS2 one is, of course, the goatee. This obviously makes sense considering Sly 4 is the latest game in the series to be released, and was actually released just 1 year before this teaser trailer. Probably the biggest problem most people had with this design was the fact that Sly has pants, and my rebuttal to that is, who cares, it looks very similar. There was actually concept art released for this teaser trailer that had Sly without pants, and they both look very similar, and I actually think the one with pants looks kind of better. But we didn't get to see the design without pants in full action, so I guess we'll never really know. And it makes sense that he does have pants because he does have a shirt, not that it's a big deal. I also think it was clever to turn his shirt into a hoodie. That ring or turtleneck around Sly in the original games looked kind of weird, but now that the fact that it would be a hood, it just makes it look a lot better. Sly just looks a little bit less cartoony, which was fine by me, even though he is, yes, a cartoon. It got rid of the whole yellow on the gloves, which I was fine with, and it's just a much more sleek design. His gloves and boots are now black. I actually like the fact that the colors are much darker in this because he doesn't really stand out as much, and it'd be easier for him to sneak around, a lot more practical. Anyways guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's video. I hope you all did enjoy. Tell me in the comments below what your ranking is, and do you agree with me? Are these picks the same as mine? Tell me in the comments below. Anyways, that being said everybody, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll catch you all in next video. Peace.
Not the drill sergeant, but the stress that weighing on your brain.